This must be how the people in Baltimore feel whenever they declare a truce on all the fellas killing each other down there all the time. They've had a couple of them. One last weekend, they had declared a truce. Didn't matter. A whole bunch of black people were going around killing each other anyway. It's just hard in Baltimore for everybody to keep up with all the murder and mayhem down there. It's hard to keep track of it. Well, I know how they feel because that's what's happening to us right here with all the hoaxes. I mean, I was getting ready to do a hoax story here and the hoax story there. Every time I get ready to do one, another one pops up. I'm getting... Let's just get to the latest one right now. It's one that we covered at the beginning. It's one that we said, hey, isn't there one person going to step up and ask if this is a hoax? Isn't there one person who's going to step up and say, how do we know this is racist graffiti and not a hoax from one of the fellas? We didn't get any answers to that question until today. Air Force Academy Prep School had a huge deal about racist graffiti and bombs out of our school, blah, blah, blah. That's when the whatever they call it, the commandant, the head of the school, he came out and delivered this 3 to 4 minute speech. I want you guys to hear it because now that we know it's all a hoax, we get to see this speech in an entirely different light as now another exhibit of virtue display, the cloud's judgment. Good Lord, isn't that one thing we can't have in a military guy? As person who has their judgment is clouded by these preconceptions of any kind? Well, that's what we have right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may have heard that some people down in the prep school wrote some racial slurs on some message boards. If you haven't heard that, I wanted you to hear it from me. If you're outraged by those words, then you're in the right place. That kind of behavior has no place at the prep school, it has no place at USAFA, and it has no place in the United States Air Force. You should be outraged not only as an airman, but as a human being. And I'll tell you that the appropriate response for horrible language and horrible ideas, the appropriate response is a better idea. So that's why I'm here. That's why all these people are up here on the staff tower. So let me have everybody who's up here, please pull forward to the rails. Also, there are so many people here, they're lining the outsides along the windows. These are members of the faculty, coaching staff, AOCs, AMTs, from the airfield, from my staff, from my headquarters. All aspects of the 10th Air Base Wing, all aspects that make up USAFA and the United States Air Force Academy. Leadership is here. You heard from Brigadier General Goodwin. Brigadier General Armacost is here. Colonel Block from the Athletic Department is here. Mr. Knowlton is in Washington, D.C. right now. That's why they're here. That's why we're all here, because we have a better idea. Some of you may think that that happened down in the prep school and doesn't apply to us. I would be naive, and we would all be naive to think that everything is perfect here. We would be naive to think that we shouldn't discuss this topic. We would also be tone deaf not to think about the backdrop of what's going on in our country. Things like Charlottesville and Ferguson, the protests in the NFL. That's why we have a better idea. One of those ideas, the dean brought people together to discuss Charlottesville. Because what we should have is a civil discourse and talk about these issues. That's a better idea. We received outstanding feedback from that session at Charlottesville. But I also have a better idea, and it's about our diversity. And it's the power of the diversity, the power of the 4,000 of you, and all of the people that are on the staff tower and lining the glass, the power of us as a diverse group. The power that we come from all walks of life, that we come from all parts of this country, that we come from all races, we come from all backgrounds, gender, all makeup, all upbringing, The power of that diversity comes together and makes us that much more powerful. That's a much better idea than small thinking and horrible ideas. We have an opportunity here, 5,500 people in this room, to think about what we are as an institution. This is our institution, and no one can take away our values. No one can write on a board and question our values. No one can take that away from us. So just in case you're unclear on where I stand on this topic, I'm going to leave you with my most important thought today. If you can't treat someone with dignity and respect, then you need to get out. If you can't treat someone from another gender, whether that's a man or a woman, with dignity and respect, then you need to get out. If you demean someone in any way, then you need to get out. And if you can't treat someone from another race or a different color skin with dignity and respect, then you need to get out. Reach for your phones. I'm serious. Reach for your phones. Okay, you don't have to reach for your phones. I'm going to give you an opportunity to reach for your phones. Grab your phones. I want you to videotape this so that you have it, so that you can use it. So that we all have the moral courage together. All of us on the staff tower, lining the glass, all of us in this room. This is our institution. And if you need it, and you need my words, then you keep these words. And you use them, and you remember them, and you share them, and you talk about them. If you can't treat someone with dignity and respect, then get out.
The last few days have been very busy at Kansas State University, I think in Manhattan, Kansas. The month started off, the month of October that is, it started off by the Jewish people. They have a religious artifact. It looks like a tent where they celebrate a religious holiday. Well, somebody came out and noticed that the tent had blown away. It was in the parking lot, wrapped around a car. Okay, all of a sudden, everybody goes to Category 5 emergency. Racism, sexism, anti-Semitism all the time, everywhere. That explains everything. Call out the school president, call out the groups, call out the newspapers, call out the student leaders. Good Lord, this is the sky is falling. Well, turns out in this case, the sky actually was falling, because a couple days later they came out sheepishly and said, yeah, I don't really know how to say this, but yeah, nobody was bothering that tent out there. It was just, it was just some bad weather we happened to have that blew the tent down. Sorry about that. Well, nobody actually apologized for all these accusations of bad things that people were guilty of on that campus. They just went on their merry way and hoped no one would remember them. Not to be outdone, about a month later, same university, black man admits to putting racist graffiti on his own car.
Riley County Police say the person responsible for vandalizing a car with racial slurs at K-State will not face any charges. 21-year-old Don Terrius Williams admitted he wrote those words on his own car, but he won't face charges for filing a false report. Riley County Police say charges would not be in the best interest of the Manhattan community.
And let's wind it up with that church goat. Man, there's so much racial craziness surrounding black churches. I mean, we've had two large-scale episodes, one during the Clinton administration and one last year, where people came out and said, oh yeah, they're burning down the black churches. Yeah. Well, turns out it wasn't true. I've done a video on it, talk about it in my books. Not true. So anyway, it doesn't matter though. I mean, this guy comes out and he goes, oh yeah, the church comes out and goes, oh, we got racist graffiti on our church, KKK. Everybody did the same thing, Category 5. white racism, oh, bad people, they're attacking us. That's how white people roll. They really suck. They do this stuff all the time. That's why black people are relentless victims of relentless white racism, and why white people are always messing with our churches. Yeah, well, you can see the headline, what happened. Some crackhead did it. I don't know why he did it. He said something like he was trying to divert attention from some money he stole or something like that. I don't even care why he did it. I'm sick of these hoaxes. I can't keep up with the things anymore. That's why I'm putting this thing out now at like 10:30 at night. I'm afraid if I don't put it out right now, by the time we all wake up tomorrow, there's going to be like 10 more hoaxes. I can't keep up with them. Did a good job on these hoaxes because they're out there in his part of the world. Jack Cashel, in a new publication he's writing for. I'm not sure if this is Jack's publication or not. It's called The Sentinel. And Jack says, why don't we have a 24-hour cooling off period before announcing a hate crime? Well, that sounds as good as any other idea I've heard about it. If for no other reason than to give old Colin and good old Jack a little more time to get a running head start on these things. Even if they're at the Air Force Academy, or if they're at the church, or if they're at the university, all these institutions of learning and discernment that are just constantly letting us down. Hoax after hoax after hoax. They never learn, they never question, because they never want to make the black kids angry.